Hello. Today I'm at Tyseley Loco Works, home of Vintage Trains and the Shakespeare Express. I'm sitting on the footplate of number 7029 Cloncastle, and I'm honoured to be sharing it with none other than Michael Whitehouse. Hello.
Hi Ben.
Michael, this locomotive has been part of your family since 1966. What are your earliest memories of it?
Yeah, it's extraordinary to think actually we've owned this loco longer than British Railways ever did.
Indeed.
I first clapped eyes on this engine at Worcester Shed in 1965 when I was 12, and Dad had already decided to contribute to the fund that had been set up so that she could be preserved.
7029 Cloncastle is in a trust. Who actually owns the trust?
It's a charity. The engine's always been in trust ever since it was purchased on the 1st of January 66. It was put into a trust at the time because there was a fund already established, and Dad and John Evans from the Dark Valley topped it up. It wasn't a charity at that time, but we converted it into a charity once we set up the museum at Tyseley, and so it's a charitable asset.
And all the other locos and carriages here at Tyseley are in the same trust?
Well, we seem to have got off to a good start by putting everything into a charity, which means that it's inviolable for forever, and other people started to help us, and everything that we have acquired since, everything, whether that's a locomotive right down to a spare spanner in the workshop, all the asset list is owned by the charity, so it can't be sold, and it's kept here to grow the cake for the future.
Your father, Pat Whitehouse, was a pioneer of the steam movement. He was one of the 5 that started the Tala Flynn in a meeting here in Birmingham. It's obviously something close to your heart because you've written this book.
Absolutely. Railway preservation was pioneered in Birmingham. Actually, we've carried on doing lots of pioneering. The very first time a heritage railway was set up was in the city of Birmingham in 1950. And Tom Rolt and Birmingham businessman Dad and Pat Garland got the thing going and rebuilt it on the back of Birmingham business and a lot of voluntary help. Everyone was just simply learning as they went on. There was no plan. You just start off on the adventure. Actually, that's still what we're doing.
And then you yourself had a stint as chairman of the Welsh Highland Railway, I believe.
Yes, well, narrow gauge is very dear to my heart, having been brought up on the Tala Flynn holidays with the Tala Flynn and the beach, really. And the Fstiniog just up the coast is a really super railway. I was a volunteer on that in my university days, and as a lawyer I decided I must help them with the Welsh Highland because it was an extraordinary project, and I ended up being chairman of the Fstiniog Railway for 4 years, which was quite remarkable.
But at the same time you were a lawyer and involved in Tyseley Loco Works as well.
Yes, my real day job is an international projects lawyer, doing railway work as much as I possibly can. So I've done some extraordinarily interesting railway concessions, and obviously participating in the privatisation of railways in the UK with international clients means I actually know what happens out there, which is very useful when working with Bob Meanley and the engineers who know how these things work. Together we can make sure that we can set up things like the Shakespeare Express, and they've carried on working.
It certainly has. I want to ask you some more questions about the future of vintage trains, but I think first we've earned ourselves a cup of tea.